Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger military leaders announced withdrawal from ECOWAS. 6 pupils die from IED explosion in Borno. Former beauty queen declared wanted by the NDLEA. On the foreign scene, 1 dead in Istanbul Catholic Church shooting. Hello there and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Thanks for joining. Many thanks for joining us once again. The military regimes in Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger have announced their immediate withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. The country's military regimes announced their withdrawal from the regional bloc on Sunday in a joint statement. Leaders of the 3 Sahel nations issued a statement saying it is a sovereign decision to leave the Economic Community of West African States without delay. The statement, read by Colonel Amadou Abdrahman, Niger junta spokesman, said after 49 years, the valiant peoples of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger regretfully and with great disappointment observe that the ECOWAS organization has drifted from the ideals of its founding fathers and the spirit of Pan-Africanism. And also 6 pupils of the Tanga Quranic Center in Gubbio town have been killed by an improvised explosive device which exploded near the Tanga Center in Gubbio local government area of the state. The incident occurred on Saturday when a metal scavenger unknowingly collected and stored various metallic items in a building near the Tanga school. According to information available, the scavenger collected the IED, which was abandoned among other scrap metals, undetonated, and it exploded at approximately 2 p.m., claiming the lives of the Almajiri children and causing severe bodily harm to others. Metal scavenging had been prohibited in Borno State by Governor Babagana Zulum since July 2023, following reports of alleged vandalism of government facilities in abandoned communities. And the Taraba State Special Task Force Committee on Illegal Mining has raided an illegal mining syndicate at the Abuja Leather Quartz mining site in Gashaka local government area of the state. The sting operation over the weekend also resulted in the arrest of 7 individuals and the destruction of the illegal miners' camp in the community. Abuja Leather is located within the Jamtari ward in Taraba Central. According to the spokesperson of the committee, Ibrahim Zupay, those arrested include Kamal A. Yusuf, Sirajo Adamu, Ibrahim Hassan, Shehu Usman, among others. Zupay, in a statement, also said those arrested would be arraigned before a special mobile court for prosecution. And the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, on Saturday gave troops deployed to Mangu General Area a marching order to end the needless attacks and killings in the area. The Army Chief gave the order at Mangu Mini Stadium while addressing the newly deployed troops in the area. Trust TV's Ado Musa has the report.
The deployment of the troops followed the recent ethno-religious violence that erupted the communities of Mangu, where many people have been killed and properties, including religious centers, destroyed. The Army Chief instructed the troops to take decisive action, utilize strategic maneuvers, and employ necessary force to swiftly and effectively bring an end to the ongoing killings without fear or favor. The ECOWAS, who expressed sadness over the wanton destruction of lives and property in the area, charged the troops to go after the lawbreakers.
In the past 1 week, we have experienced another round of violence here in Mangu. So I'm here today. I've had a chat with your commander and his planning staff on the security situation on the plateau, especially in Mangu. But as soldiers, your focus is on one thing. Every lawbreaker must be apprehended.
The ECOWAS also assured residents of the area that there won't be any incident of violence again.
The military has been on the plateau for some time. And so we need the appearance of other elements of national power to bring a lasting and sustainable peace to plateau. We have said this, we are discussing with other critical stakeholders to ensure that that is done. We cannot rule out flashes, occurrence of conflict, but the response of the military is what matters. What happened in Mangu on 23rd, 24th of January was contained quickly and localized in this community. So I want to commend the troops for that. But regardless of that, our focus is that there will be a zero incidence of violence. And that is why we have surged more troops. We have brought in more combat enablers and logistics to ensure that we have boots on the ground. We have presence in the population domain to ensure that people can live at peace and go about their lawful businesses.
While denying the allegation of being compromised in their operations, the army chief assured that the security personnel deployed to the state would impartially discharge their constitutional responsibility for the sake of peace and unity in the area. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
To the special guest of honor, Lieutenant General.
So that's for the Chief of Army Staff's visit to Mangu local government area in Plateau. Moving on now, efforts by the Ogun State Police Command to rescue the Lagos State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Philip Ivoji, and other targets of abduction by gunmen on Thursday turned tragic, with the loss of one of the targets. The victim, identified as 37-year-old Bilkisu Kazim, was hit by bullets in an exchange of gunfire between the security personnel deployed to rescue them and the bandits who ambushed them on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. 4 other targets were injured, but their condition was said to be non-life-threatening. Spokesperson of the Lagos State Police Command, Ogun State Police Command, Omolola Odutola, in an update on the rescue effort, said the gunmen unexpectedly took over the bamboo area of the expressway at about 7 p.m. on that fateful day, barricaded the road with articulated vehicles, and started shooting indiscriminately. This, he said, sparked commotion, with motorists abandoning their vehicles and running into the bush. And the surge in criminal activities across the country has been blamed on idleness by the majority of the youth population, who often become willing tools for breaking the law. With the high cost of living occasioned by the inflation and other economic factors posing a serious threat to the security of Nigeria, residents of Makurdi, the Benue state capital, are calling for strategies to arrest youth restiveness as a way of addressing the rising insecurity in the country. Jimmy Azande reports.
Idleness in the context of social economics is a situation where someone at the right age and who also possesses the requisite ability is not engaged in any profitable venture. In Nigeria, the majority of those who fall within the above category look up to white-collar jobs, despite the decline in the availability of such jobs. Some of this idle and active set of people usually find themselves vulnerable and open to unwholesome activities that constitute a threat to security of lives and property.
When people are idle, sometimes they begin to think of different things, evil, or otherwise they may think of something that they feel can just give them joy at the moment.
Though in the minority, some youths are already in some skills and are calling on their contemporaries to do something meaningful with their lives.
I'm a handwork person, so I picked so many opportunities in life. So even my exams, I'm about to register it myself. That's the reason why I should advise all the young guys growing up to find something that you use your hand to do.
Almost all the youth nowadays doesn't have anything to do. So when you go to parks, motor parks, you see them there. All they do is load buses, and in the night they'll be out there doing things unimaginable. Have a handwork. It will make you to give you the courage not to even stand in the community and talk, because if they are mentioning people who steal in the society, you are not going to be among.
They say with the current economic hardship in Nigeria, only those who have goods and services to offer can fit into the new paradigm.
So, but if it depends on people, sometimes maybe you go to them, you will not find anything. So it will not even help you anything, you'll be frustrated. So for you not to be frustrated, it is when you have something doing.
We're calling on the government to provide the right atmosphere for profitable ventures, and that we gratefully employ the youth. Those already engaged want others to embrace hard work and dedication in order to develop themselves economically. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
And an ex-beauty queen, Miss Aderinoye, Queen Christmas, also known as Miss Queen Oluwadamilola Aderinoye, has been declared wanted by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA. She was declared wanted after escaping from her Lekki, Lagos residence when operatives raided her apartment at Oro Estate, Lekki, on Wednesday, 24th January. According to a statement by the NDLEA, the raid came following credible intelligence that the ex-beauty queen deals in illicit substances. Recovered from her home during the search witnessed by the estate officials include 606 grams of Canadian loud, a synthetic strain of cannabis, an electronic weighing scale, large quantities of drugs, packing plastics. The suspect was Miss Commonwealth Nigeria Culture in 2015-2016 and founder of Queen Christmas Foundation. And the Federal High Court in Jalingo has ordered the Taraba State government to stop work at the trade fair ground. The legal battle between the federal government and the Taraba State government may hinder the ongoing construction of the Jalingo multi-billion naira trade fair complex. The court granted the order in a suit filed by the federal government claiming that the Jalingo trade fair ground was sold to it by the immediate past administration of Governor Darius Ishaku for the building of a federal secretariat in the state. In August 2022, the Controller of Housing in the Taraba Field Office of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Ahmed Rabiu, said the federal government had secured 5.6 hectares of land in Jalingo from the state government for the construction of a federal secretariat complex. Rabiu said that all the procedures required for the award of the contract were also completed. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Residents raise alarm over skyrocketing prices of drugs. This and of course many other stories after the break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with the news update on Trust TV. Now we'll look at the headlines again. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger military leaders announce withdrawal from ECOWAS. And 6 pupils die from IED explosion in Borno. Moving on to other stories now, dry season farmers in Bauchi State have again appealed to the President Tinubu to urgently investigate the activities of those responsible for the distribution of agri-palliatives to local farmers across the country. They made the appeal while talking to Trust TV amidst the challenges they faced during the distribution exercise recently in the state. Adamu Imam has details.
Irrigation farmers who cut across the elderly, the young and women all acknowledge that the federal government has planned to help Nigerian peasant farmers through palliatives and farm inputs. But however lamented that such farmers were being shortchanged by the people responsible for reaching the actual farmers. They shortchanged us at the distribution point. We went there with cash at hand for the inputs, but it did not go as planned. I sacrificed my asset just to get money and collect those farm inputs, but they put us on hold. On the day we were to get the inputs, we got there and realized that they gathered non-farmers and took pictures with them to sell the narrative that they have distributed the inputs. Many people went there without money, but they had an arrangement with marketers to get money. For those who had money, they are expected to provide a guarantor before they will be given the fertilizer or the risk for fitting it. However, some added that considering the capital-intensive nature of dry season, a farmer cannot do without sufficient farm inputs, hence the need for authorities to change strategy in reaching them. If they are supported with enough capital, I believe those perishable farmers can be engaged, and by God's grace, things will be better because with such support, we can produce sufficient food. Dry season farming is a blessing to farmers, just as the rainy season is. We have resolved to engage in irrigation farming to ensure all-round farming. Our biggest challenge now is incursion by animals here. They assure that if irrigation farmers will be encouraged with farm implements, then Nigeria will be proud of being among the food-secured nation in no distant time. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
A cross-section of Nigerians want the federal government to intervene and halt the rising cost of prescription drugs in the country in order to prevent avoidable health emergencies. Persons with health conditions that require everyday use of medication say they are finding it extremely difficult to meet their health needs in the face of economic hardship in the country. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade reports.
Trust TV's check revealed that people battling life-threatening diseases that require constant use of medication for full recovery have now resigned to their fate due to skyrocketing prices of drugs in the country.
Government failed to play their role in the Nigeria economy, pertaining to every situation. Anything containing medical or drugs should be free. We should have access to bring in the drugs without paying any tax on it. Some people cannot afford to buy drugs when they prescribe the drug for them or getting the pharmacies. So we are appealing to the government can assist to be giving people drugs free or they reduce the cost of the drug.
A clinical pharmacist at Zadet Pharmacy, Odiolowo in Osogbo, Osun State, pharmacist Dr. Abdulaziz Adetoyi urged the federal government to intervene and address rising cost of drugs with a view to save lives.
Pertaining to what the government can do on this to help out, I have two suggestions, and one is majorly because of most of the drugs we sell, they are imported. And the cost of importation, the import duties on all these drugs, it's making the prices of drugs to go up. And if the government can find a way of lowering the importation duties on especially drugs or active pharmaceutical ingredients, the materials that we use in producing drugs, because even the local companies that are producing drugs here, some of them still have to import the active pharmaceutical ingredients. So reducing the tariff, I think, should really help to reduce the prices of drugs generally.
Continuous fall of Naira against the dollar has impacted negatively on importers of prescription drugs due to exchange rate variation, which in turn affect the prices, a situation Nigerians say must be addressed promptly to prevent avoidable health emergencies in the country. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Let's go on a short break now. When we return, the news update returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. And to stories on the global scene. Two gunmen attacked a Catholic church in Istanbul, turning morning mass into a scene of terror and killing one man. The shooting happened at the Church of Santa Maria during Sunday Mass at around 11:40 local time. Turkey's Interior Minister condemned the vile attack and said an investigation has been launched. The motive for the shooting was not immediately clear, but officials said it looks like a targeted attack. CCTV released by Turkish media shows the moment of the attack. Worshippers were on their feet facing the altar when two gunmen came into the back of the church. They appear to be following a man who has just come in dressed in black. After he is shot and fatally wounded, the gunmen calmly leave. The 19th century church sits behind high walls close to a small fish market by the Bosphorus on the European side of Istanbul. The streets around it were closed off by the police. Inside the church, investigators took statements from those who were there when the attackers struck. The Turkish Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya, who visited the scene, said that an individual identified as CT had died in the attack. The uncle of the dead man told local media the victim was 52 years old and about to become a Christian. Another relative said he was mentally ill and insisted that he was not the target of the attack. And the world's largest cruise ship has set sail from Miami, Florida on its maiden voyage, but there are concerns about the vessel's methane emissions. The 365 meters long, 1,197 feet of length Icon of the Seas has 20 decks and can house a maximum of 7,600 passengers. It is owned by Royal Caribbean Group. The vessel is going on a 7-day island hopping voyage in the Caribbean. Environmentalists warn the liquefied natural gas-powered ship will leak harmful methane into the air. Built at a shipyard in Turku, Finland, the Bahamas-registered ship has 7 swimming pools and 6 water slides. It costs $2 billion to build and also has more than 40 restaurants, bars and lounges. And in sports, West Brom's FA Cup tie at home to local rivals Wolves was suspended on Sunday because of fan disorder in the 82nd minute at the Hawthorns. Trouble flared after Premier League Wolves went 2-0 up. Missiles were thrown at one end of the pitch and a large fight broke out in the corner at the other end. Fans spilled onto the pitch and the players were taken to the changing rooms as police restored order before returning to resume the game. Matthias Cunha doubled Wolves' lead on 78 minutes and adding to Pedro Neto's first half opener. The players returned to the field shortly after when both West Brom and Wolves players began a warm-up before resuming the game 10 minutes later. And Jannik Sinner landed the Grand Slam title he has long promised with an extraordinary fight back to beat Daniil Medvedev in the Australian Open final. Italy's Sinner, 22, trailed by 2 sets before recovering to win 3-6, 3-6, 6-4, 6-4, 6-3 in his first major final 4th seed. Sinner initially could not cope with the Russian pace but imposed himself as the contest wore on. It was another bitter experience for Medvedev, who also blew a 2-set lead against Rafael Nadal in the 2022 final. A first-time champion in Melbourne was guaranteed after Sinner knocked out 10-time winner Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals. And that wraps up the news update of this hour. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news, programs and documentaries. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching.